Passions podcast, the podcast where we talk about the soap opera passions. I'm your regular host, Latara, back today with a returning guest host, Jessica.
What? There it is.
All right,
Oh
so
my God.
glad to have you back, Jessica. How you doing?
I'm doing really good. I'm excited to talk about this craziness.
I know it was a good week because we're in the summertime. These episodes aired in June, so
yeah.
We're in the summertime, the summer peak of passions, and it is so clear and evident, and it's so fun.
Yeah,
so fun.
Yeah.
So
let's have a summer.
What? Follow the road with the yellow bricks. That's what
that. Yeah, exactly. It's such a weird tribute. Like it's like really okay. We're doing this
follow the road with the yellow bricks. Because they're doing a Wizard of Oz thing in the magic storyline, as you all probably know already, but we'll get to more to that later. Before we get into the episode, I want to give a quick shout out to all the patrons over on Patreon. Thank you to Muna Shea, Brie Lynn, Lisa, Sid, Randall, Hannah, Camellia, Samantha, Jeanette, Eric, Fantasia, Sean, S, Larissa, Maria, Lisa, Jessica, Jean, Laura, Karen, Uche, Paige, Casey, Garanch, Tom, Pablo, Daisy, Shane, Kelly, Taylor Harris Crane, and DJ. Thank you all very, very much for becoming patrons. And if anybody else wants to become a patron on Patreon, come on out there and sign up. We're going to be doing some more watch parties and stuff. We had a good time on the Halloween party. I dressed up as Luis.
Oh my God.
And actually I dressed up as Luis / Sam.
What outfit did you wear for that? / Sam, so you wore a cop outfit.
Yeah, okay, so Timmy is wearing like Sam's tie.
I was gonna ask, what is up with the sheriff thing?
And the sheriff badge.
What's up with it, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Nice. That's awesome.
All right, so let's get on with this show. Really big show.
Can I ask if anyone was Tabitha?
Nobody was Tabitha this year. Although Eric did Alistair, and it was amazing. Also, I need to remember to like send out prizes. But yes, Eric did Alistair, and it was incredible because he had his camera set up. He had like 2 cameras set up.
Oh my God.
Like, so one,
just, like, show his hand.
It was just his hand, and he had like all of these props.
Yeah.
All these props. He had all these pictures. He like ripped a picture of like Sheridan up. It was like
how Alistair. It's amazing.
It was so good. I'll keep talking about that forever, honestly, because I think it was probably like
it's genius.
One of the best costumes I've ever seen in my life. It was so good. So anyway, this week we're talking about episodes 751 through 755. And we're going to jump right in with, I forgot to tell you what the order is. We didn't talk about it, but I think we jump in with Theresa.
Sure.
She's got the most going on. And
they all have a lot going on.
They all have a lot going on, but she's got the
right now.
Yeah,
Okay.
Well, so we'll jump in with Theresa, then we'll go to Magic, then we'll finish with those idiots over on Bermuda.
Okay. Perfect. Yes.
All right. So when we pick up this week, remember Theresa and Ethan are ready to escape in a helicopter from the Crane cabin. And so they're headed out to the chopper to escape.
Yeah.
But Theresa is in active labor and has been.
So annoying. She is like, I'm not. It's like, you very clearly are in labor, Theresa. She lies about it for almost the entire time of these episodes.
She's been lying about it for weeks at this point. Like he helped her escape, I think not last week but the week before maybe, and she went into labor while they were in the car.
Right.
So she's been lying about it because she thinks that she can just hold the baby in.
Right, and get to like Europe or something.
Oh my God, to a place where they can't be extradited. Okay. So yes, she's lying about being in labor. And Gwen is there also. She's trying to stop them because she actually does know that Theresa has preeclampsia and that if she doesn't deliver in a hospital or at least have like a doctor there, she will likely die and her baby will likely die as well. Yeah. So she's trying to stop them. Theresa keeps telling her like, no, Ethan, don't listen to her. She's lying. She just don't.
It's like, way to project, Theresa. Like she's, yeah.
Mm-hmm. She says that Gwen is lying, and then Ethan asks her why she's like doubled over in pain, and she's like, "Oh,
She
I
said,
just stubbed my toe."
I slipped. It's like, you didn't. But how dumb is Ethan to listen to her? Like, it's like, just override the lie. Like, don't listen to it. But he's like, I guess so. I guess if you keep saying that it's not happening, then you're right.
Yeah, I guess he's not the smartest cookie, right?
No, no.
And so the pilot of this helicopter calls Ethan, tells them they need to hurry up. Like the wind is getting stronger. I don't know how much longer I can stay here. And so Ethan's like, okay, we have to go. He says his goodbye to Gwen. Like finally, he's like, goodbye, Gwen. Teresa is so funny because she's just like, okay, let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
She's
I
like,
was with her on that. I was like so annoyed that he wasn't like, it's like, go. I was right with her on that.
yeah. Yeah. Especially considering the pilot just called and was like, you only have a little bit of time. And then
Right. And it's
and then
like,
he takes that
what are
moment
you
to like,
doing?
yeah,
He's like
turn.
talking it out with everyone. It's like, Ethan.
Yeah, and he like slowly turned to Gwen. It was like, Gwen, I have
Let's
to
have
say
a
goodbye
powwow
now.
really quick. Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Teresa tries to pull him away from Gwen. Then the pilot calls again, and he says that they actually have to wait because he has to land somewhere else for whatever reason.
I think it was like wind or something.
And yeah, it's there's a storm apparently,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
so it's like knocking down trees. There's a lot going on outside. So at this point, and it's crazy because Ethan's phone was working perfectly fine every time he had to talk to the pilot. But
Right.
later on, he tries to talk to Eve, and he has no service, no signal at all, like ever. But he got like 3 phone calls from this pilot with no
Right.
problem.
Right.
Anyway, I think he went to like to the kitchen maybe, and Gwen starts like going in on Teresa about how she's
Yeah.
a liar and she's being manipulative, and she's
Yeah.
you know, she's like, I'm on to you. You're just manipulating Ethan into going away with you because you know that he doesn't he wouldn't do this unless he wouldn't do this except he's feeling guilty about you, basically,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Teresa is like, no, you're mad because Ethan chose me over you
I agree.
again.
I think it was 100% true. It's like, why did he leave you in the first place? That is the deal breaker. That is over. Like, so she's right.
Yeah, I actually believe both of these women are right in this.
Okay, I can see that.
I do believe that Ethan, that Gwen is upset because Ethan has chosen Teresa again, right? Like it, right?
Yeah, he is kind of, yeah.
I also do believe that Ethan, in some ways, has chosen Teresa out of guilt. He's basically said as much.
She is. I mean, how can you not help her in this situation? Absolutely. So Gwen is kind of right. You're right. She is kind of manipulating the situation to force Ethan to take her away with him.
Look, I don't agree on the manipulation front on that part of it. Just because I agree on the Ethan feels guilty. That's partially why he's doing this.
Okay.
Like,
right.
because Teresa wants to paint this picture that Ethan is doing this because he is madly and desperately in love with her and wants to just run away with her. But that definitely is not the case.
Right. He's just freaked out that she's about to die, basically.
Right. But it also is true that he did not have to choose this, right? Like there was a bunch of people at the hospital who could have also been like, you know what, Teresa, I'm going to break you out of here, right? He didn't have to choose this, but he did. Yep. And right at the time when he had just rekindled his relationship with Gwen, like he is choosing Teresa over Gwen. That is also happening. Both of these things are true.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
You're right.
So anyway, these 2 women bicker back and forth. Teresa's in full-blown labor. It's just craziness. Craziness. We get a lot of Gwen trying to talk Ethan out of this decision to leave.
Yeah.
Like that is a big portion of the first like 2 or 3 episodes. Is just they're bickering about what should happen, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Gwen makes a good point actually, which she don't make a lot of good points, but she makes some good points here. She tells Ethan, Teresa's always talking about fate and how much everything is fate, But it
Yeah,
seems like it really does seem like fate is trying to keep y'all here. Like the helicopter can't land. There's a storm happening. Teresa's clearly in labor.
I don't even think Gwen believed that. I really think she was just kind of, I think it was more like intelligent, like that she was like using Teresa's logic and her whole strategy like kind of against her. Because I don't believe that she actually believes it's fate. I think she was basically being like, you yourself, based on your own admitted logic, would say this is fate, right? And she can't say it's not, because it's like, yeah, it seems like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think that I agree that she probably it's a good.
She doesn't believe.
It is a winning strategy to use other people's words against them.
Yes,
like almost always.
Yep.
You know. So that it's and she makes and it's correct. Like she makes a good point. Like it does seem like fate is trying to tell you to stay here.
Yeah, I was wondering the whole time, like, if they should just stay there. Like, I don't know about preeclampsia, but like, wouldn't it have been safer if they just tried to help her and deliver it there, or is it a death sentence 100% of the time?
I think the issue is that Theresa is saying she's not in labor. And also there's still a question of, does she actually have preeclampsia, or is Gwen lying? We know that Gwen isn't lying, but Theresa insists that Gwen is lying.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, I do believe that it would obviously be much safer for her to be on the ground.
Right. And just to remove as much stress from the situation as possible. Like, stop yelling at her.
Then again, they could, if they're going to get into a helicopter, they could airlift her to a hospital.
But they're saying the helicopter is not an option anymore. So it's like,
well, it still was at this point. It still was at this point. Well, they went to the helicopter.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, they do end up going.
So let's move to that part of this story.
Okay.
So the pilot calls Ethan again with no issues.
Right.
He gives Gwen another goodbye, and then they leave to get on the helicopter. Gwen runs outside and sees like a giant explosion immediately. And she's like, oh my God, the helicopter, it crashed. Nobody could have survived that. And so she goes over to like the wreckage, and we see like the wreckage of this helicopter, but Ethan and Theresa are still fine because they never actually made it to the helicopter because
in labor.
Yeah, because
in hardcore labor.
Ethan says to Gwen when they come out of the woods, she's like, oh my God, I'm so glad you're okay and that you weren't on the helicopter. I thought you, how did you survive, or something like that? And he's like, we never made it to the helicopter. Right. Theresa collapsed.
Right.
He's so stupid. He's like, well, Theresa collapsed. I don't know why.
You don't know why. And she says something about it being the wind. And they're like, and he's like, it was the wind or something. Like, it's like, oh my God. And yeah. Okay.
Yeah. You know what? Honestly, you know what this kind of reminds me of? Do you watch Real Housewives of Salt Lake City?
No, I don't. I watched,
okay.
No, sorry.
It's okay. Jen Shaw.
Yeah.
There's a housewife who was on the first like 4 seasons, Jen Shaw, and she went to jail recently, right? Because of like this fraud and all of this. She has a husband, and when they're together on the show, she's like a completely different person. Like that man has never seen the worst parts of her that we all see when she's like with her.
You're not talking about the old guy with the woman in music videos,
right? No. That's
okay.
That's Eric. I think you're talking about Erica Jane and Tom Girardi
where it's
from Beverly Hills. No, so many of these women have been in like these
sociopathic
legal
relationships.
These legal situations. Where's my law music? Yeah, they've all been in so much trouble. But anyway, Jen Shaw, she's like this fucking psycho.
She's one thing and then she's a completely other thing.
And her husband, it seems like he doesn't know that version of her. Yeah. Like, and I feel like I kind of feel that way with Ethan and Theresa, where he just can't, he just doesn't see.
He's so weird how he keeps being like, she would never do that. She would never feel like that. And it's like, she would, and everything about your entire time together has said that. Like, I agree. I noticed that too. I was like, Ethan.
So they never made it on because she collapsed. Ethan's like, I don't know what could possibly be wrong with Theresa. Like,
trips on a route.
It's so stupid. Yeah. So they go back to the cabin, And they go around and round and round and round in circles where Gwen is like trying to get Theresa to admit that she's in labor, and Theresa's like, no, I'm fine. And then Theresa says she doesn't want to go to she can't go to the hospital. She won't go back. She just continues to lie about being in labor. But eventually it gets so bad. And Gwen is hammering at her. Like,
Gwen
Theresa admitted.
says, like, stop lying for 1 second. She calls her on it, and she's like, don't be a liar, just say it. And then Teresa's like, I am a liar. I am in labor. She doesn't say the first part, but
no, that's basically what she says. She says she admits,
called her on it.
I am in labor, and then she admits, I've been in labor since before we got to the cabin.
Right.
And Ethan's like, why would you lie?
What?
Why would you lie about that? Why would you? And she says that she was afraid that he would take her back to the hospital, and she just wanted them to be together.
Right.
Like, God, this poor girl is in, well, she's not quite in psychosis yet, but we getting there. So
we're almost there.
We're almost there. So Gwen starts yelling at her, saying she's a pathological liar. Not only are you a pathological liar, but you're crazy.
Which is true.
And then she's like, you've signed your baby's death warrant and your own. And Ethan has like gone outside to see if they can leave because he wants to take her to the hospital.
Yeah.
And there's a tree blocking the main road, so they can't get out anymore, right? Basically. Yeah. So Gwen, I don't know why, I don't understand exactly what my notes say here. I'm just going to read the note.
I just read it and I'll try to make sense of it.
Gwen tries to reason with the other two. Ethan is swayed. Theresa keeps resisting, saying they can still get away by walking over the mountain? Question mark, question mark, question mark. I was like, I don't
just
even
take a
remember.
A moment of silence for that idea.
Like, that was so ridiculous. And so I'm once I read it, I think I remember what was happening. So like, but I know why I was confused by it, because Ethan comes in and tells her, hey, the road is blocked. We can't go anywhere. Yeah. But she's still like insisting that they leave. And he's like, but the road is blocked. And then but Ethan is also swayed by that. Like, yeah, maybe we should leave. But you just told us that the road is blocked.
Right. So what's the plan?
What is the plan? And then Theresa, yes, her saying, well, we can still escape. We can just walk over the mountain like the Von Trapps. We can walk over the mountain and get to freedom.
It's like, they're not real, right? Like, it's like.
Also, what?
Yeah, you're right. When did that happen in the movie? Is that what you're saying?
Where are you? But also,
maybe she's picturing them like running around the mountain.
Well,
like,
the Von Trapps do go over.
I'm thinking of like the Julie Andrews thing, right? That's
yeah. The Sound of Music. I put the tidbit in about the Von Trapps. She did not say that.
Okay.
No, I said that because that's all I could think, is that she wants to flee the Nazis by going over the Alps. But which is what they do in the Sound of Music. The Von Trapp children and Maria and whatever his name
you're
was.
right.
Yeah,
you're right.
They go over the mountains out of Austria, to flee the Nazis. But Theresa, baby, y'all are in Massachusetts. You're gonna go over the mountains to where? New Hampshire? Where are you going?
Yeah, exactly. No, it's so true.
Where are you going?
Yep.
So anyway, Gwen then starts accusing Theresa of. She's like, I can't understand why Theresa would put her baby's life at risk like this. I just can't understand it. And then she's like, I understand now. You hate your baby, don't you, Theresa? You hate your baby. You blame your baby for losing Ethan. It was just, honestly, it was unnecessary at this point. Like, I get it. You don't like Theresa. You don't understand what's going on. I totally get it. But you also know that this girl is pregnant, about to give birth, like right here, right now, has preeclampsia, might die, baby might die. And on top of that, is actually on death row for a murder that a lot of people are saying she probably didn't commit. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe don't throw that little last bit of salt on the wound. For what?
The whole time I kept thinking about, how is Theresa dealing with it? I wouldn't be like, how is she not, like, she was dealing with it better than I would myself, for sure. Like, because Gwen was like attacking her on a personal level, and it's like she's giving birth, and like also with the added complications, it's just like ridiculous.
And considering how Theresa got pregnant and whose baby it is and the circumstances around Theresa's pregnancy, I don't think it is I don't think it makes any sense for Gwen to kind of pour salt in that particular wound.
No, it's
right, like because who could fault her for not feeling connected to her baby? There's a lot of women that's a whole thing, right? Like
how annoying and Ethan was it for him to be like, she would never, like, he was like, she would never hate a baby, like she would never, especially, I felt like it was very annoying that his reaction to it. And because, how could you not at least empathize with the fact that that's true? It's like many things can be true at once, and that is a part of what happened to her. So she did lose you because of what Julian did, and she's pregnant with Julian's baby, and it's like, I get it. I get why she would hate the baby a little bit.
I could see her. I'm not saying it's right. But I am saying that it's
the reality of the situation. Doesn't mean it's right.
And that that it doesn't come out of nowhere. Like, it doesn't make her evil because I've never once heard Theresa say anything about hating her baby. She's scared. Right. And she said that she doesn't feel connected to the baby. And she, she was thinking about getting an abortion, but that doesn't mean she hates the baby. She actually decided to continue with her pregnancy. Yeah, she had the choice.
No, you're right. Gwen is taking the reality of the situation, which is, it's a complicated thing and there are dark things about it. And she's being like, again, like, it's the wrong time. She's attacking her basically for it.
Yeah, and she took all the nuance out of it. Oh, Theresa hates her baby.
Right. She's a baby killer and a baby hater. It's like, okay.
Yeah. And she says that for the next 2.5 episodes. Yeah, Theresa hates her baby. You hate your baby. I can't believe you hate your baby. And
Ethan gets on the bandwagon too. He's like, say it's not true. Tell her it's not true.
Yeah,
it's like, shut up, Ethan.
Oh my God, that pissed me off so bad. Because here Gwen is saying Theresa hates her baby. Theresa hates her baby.
Sucks though. So it's like, oh, sorry, Maria. I know, but Gwen, sorry, but like Gwen, like, it makes sense she'd be saying it for Ethan to be like, absolutely, that's not, like, it was annoying. It was very Ethan.
It doesn't make sense for Ethan for this woman who is in active labor, for you to turn to her and start questioning her
morality.
About this. Go get some towels, boil some water. Aren't you supposed to be doing something?
I also think they should be playing like new age music and like finding candles. Like, they should be trying to like chill her out, basically.
Something. Because preeclampsia, if I'm not mistaken, which I probably am, I think preeclampsia also has something to do with like your blood pressure.
Okay. Well, that would make sense with the ankle swelling and the face swelling. Like, it's like it would make sense. Are you Googling it?
I am. Preeclampsia is a serious pregnancy disorder. Me too, because I was like, is that real?
I was like, that can't be. That sounds like a passion's lie.
Okay, so it says a serious pregnancy disorder that involves high blood pressure and other symptoms that can damage the mother and baby. I thought that because...
So they're literally really exacerbating that situation. Like, they're actually really like pouring gasoline on the fire with that.
The first time I ever even heard of preeclampsia was in Downton Abbey.
Oh, okay.
Did you watch Downton?
Jessica Simpson? No, I never did. My whole family wants me so badly to watch it. I don't know why I'm not giving.
You should watch it. It's so good. Have you watched the Gilded Age?
No.
Oh, well, never mind. I was gonna say, if you watch that, then you would really love Downton.
I've been watching. What I've been watching is Eureka. Do you remember?
Oh, I remember Eureka. I've never watched it, but it's definitely
super dorky. I love like the early 2000s crap, which is why I love Passions.
I was about to say it tracks. It tracks. Okay. Yeah. So I love the early 2000s stuff too. Actually, one of my really, really close friends, her favorite show is Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and I didn't know that until very recently. And so I think I'm gonna rewatch it.
Recently?
I've never watched it, so I think I'm gonna start it because
I'm so jealous. That's awesome.
I'm gonna start it because she convinced me. Like, she's hilarious. Like, "Oh no, it's my favorite show. It's so good, you'll love it."
It's very nostalgic for sure. Yeah.
So I'm gonna watch it. And I remember she was like, "But you have to watch it with the lens of like when it came out." And I was like, "Girl,
yeah." But it's not that crazy like that. It isn't that. It's not too hard to. If you can watch Passions,
that's what I was about to say.
I was like feministy.
Yeah. I'm making it through Passions. I think I can make it through Buffy. And also I lived through that, right? Like
Yeah.
I remember that. So I
Yeah,
think
we were,
it's not as
yeah.
jarring because I was alive. I
You're
remember
like,
how
yeah, I
TV
was
used to be.
becoming a woman when that was that.
Yeah. So
Right.
anyway,
Do
back
it.
to
Go.
Teresa, who's
Yeah.
losing it, baby.
Yep.
Poor thing.
Mhm.
So we talked about the whole Teresa hates her baby, the whole all of that. Now let's talk about what's going on at the hospital.
Yeah.
So at the hospital
drama.
is a mess.
Mhm.
It's just so much going on. Rebecca and Ivy are kind of in one corner talking with each other, and then like the other, Harmony citizens, Pilar, Eve, Luis, Sam, TC, which I guess makes sense.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I
it
do.
makes sense that Eve is there. It makes sense that Pilar, Sam, and Luis are
He's
there.
like, I'm here to help, and everyone's like, okay.
Yeah. All right,
so
cool.
funny. Yeah.
They're all there, and they're all colluding together to make sure that Teresa, like, and Ethan basically get away.
Yep.
But except now there's this complication of Teresa has preeclampsia, so they're trying to figure out where they are so they can
have to
get
wait
to them.
till after she's safe and after she's had the baby to like move her.
Yeah, well, they want to know where they are so that they can get so that Sam or Luis can get there before like the other law enforcement people find them, basically, and help them get away, I guess. Yep. I guess that's the plan. I don't know, but
it was confusing. Yeah,
it was unclear what the whole plan was. But Ivy and Rebecca have a conversation about the whole situation where Ivy figures out that Rebecca knows exactly where they are because Gwen called her mom. Yeah, Gwen had called her mom and she had told her where she was and that she had found Ethan and Theresa, and she had made Rebecca promise not to tell anybody because she was worried about Ethan. So Rebecca has decided she's not going to tell. She's going to keep her lips zipped.
Her face not zipped, her lips zipped, but she gives it away anyways.
Yeah, with her eyebrow.
Yeah, and she was like,
yeah, and so Ivy wants her to tell her, like, tell me where they are. Like, I need to get to Ethan, or maybe Sam can get to Ethan and help. Yeah, we're partners. You can't keep anything from me. Yada yada yada. Rebecca's like, no, I'm not going to tell you because we want to make sure Teresa dies, and if they find Teresa, then they'll bring her back here. And Eve is a marvelous doctor. This was so funny. Eve is a marvelous doctor. And I mean, she specializes in everything. OBGYN, psychology, emergency room doctor. She can even run a lie detector test and hypnotize people. And she says, so she would cure Teresa just like that. And I loved this so much because it signaled to me that the Passions writers absolutely knew how the ridiculous shit that they had written.
How many specialties Eve has and how much they use her for like anything scientific or intelligent at all. So yeah, you're right.
It's hilarious.
Yep, it was hilarious. They do that like tongue-in-cheek kind of like awareness thing every once in a while, which I like.
It was great. I loved it. So Rebecca doesn't want them to find Teresa because if they bring her back, Eve will cure her, right? And she will live, and then maybe Ethan will be able to get an appeal through, and then she'll, she won't get murdered. But Ivy successfully badgers her into telling her that they're at the cabin. So now Ivy and Rebecca have this information. Meanwhile, Eve and Beth, like two people you never see talking to each other.
Yeah.
Eve and Beth have a conversation.
So weird, yeah.
It was so weird.
I hate Beth. Like her hair, like that's why I hate her. Like it's like I know she sucks, but like her bangs, the whole time I'm just like,
her hair is terrible.
It's weird.
And she's such a gorgeous woman.
She's a very attractive woman. So it's like, why did you do that to her? I get that they probably everyone has a hit and a miss, but
they do this to her for the
entire time.
They cut her hair,
and she's so hot when she has her longer hair, and then they make it like that. I think it's because they're trying to be like she sucks, but and
it's like spiky.
Yeah, and gelled like waves, like.
Yeah, her hair is so bad. It's iconic though.
Yeah, yes.
You know what it kind of reminds me of is did you ever watch Days of Our Lives?
Yeah.
You know Billy Reed?
No.
You remember Billy Reed?
No.
Bo's
I'm
like
Googling it.
baby mama. She's played by Lisa Rinna. You know who Lisa Rinna is on
Oh
Beverly
yeah.
Hills.
Oh yeah.
So that hair is so iconic to like Billy. I think the same thing is like what's going
Okay.
on with Beth is like she's
That's
got that
what they're trying
iconic
to
like
do, kind of. But
villain
are you
side
talking
chick
about
hair.
like that kind of hair?
Yeah, Lisa Rinna, like that's how Billy always looked. Like her hair was always kind of like that.
That's normal. Like it's almost like she has that, and then she has short bangs with like a lot of hair gel only on the bangs, and then they're just like, and it's
You
just
have
like,
analyzed it down, and I love
yeah,
it.
it bothers me a lot. All right, keep
No,
going.
I just think I don't know. For me, the parallel is Beth has that hair through the whole show, and Billy had her hair like that, like in that kind
It
of
makes
style
sense.
the whole show,
That checks
and
out.
they both kind of fit in the exact same
Character.
category. They're the same. They have the same kind of character where
Yeah,
Billy was like
crazy.
after Bo for years and years and years, and like
Yep.
eventually had a baby with him, whatever.
Yeah.
But she was like his side chick, right? And it's the
Yep.
same thing with
It's exactly.
Beth.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, he was never in love with Billy
Right.
the same way he was with Hope. Same
Right.
way with Luis was never in love with Beth the same way he is with Sheridan, that lady. That lady over there on the island. So
Well,
anyway, these people, Eve and Beth, having this conversation. Again, so weird to see them even talking to each other outside of the book cafe. But
yeah.
um Eve tells Beth about this rare preeclampsia symptom
Yeah.
of sudden violent psychotic episodes, and she's
Yeah.
worried that it might affect Theresa, and for no apparent reason. She just says, you know, if she's under a lot of stress and a lot of pressure, if she feels attacked, she might go crazy and become violent. And so uh cut to
Yeah.
cut back to the cabin
Yeah.
where Gwen is berating Theresa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Berating Theresa about hating her baby. She's like, I can't
Yeah.
believe you hate your baby so much. She turns her back on Theresa. She's like folding up some
Talking
like
shit as she's yeah.
yeah, she's sorting some stuff. And Teresa's eyes are looking a little crazy. Like
Yeah.
we see like the switch in her eyes kind of, and she gets kind of quiet, and she looks over, and there's some scissors just like sitting on the couch that what's her name was using to cut up
Rags.
cloth. Yeah. So she sees the scissors, and that's what's going on. I'm not gonna say exactly just yet because we got to go back to the hospital. Okay, this right
Yeah.
now there's a lot of back and forth because now Ethan is trying to call Eve and not getting a signal through. So he's like going around the house trying to find a signal where he can get Eve on the line. He finally gets her on the phone.
Right.
And they very quickly lose connection. It's at this point that the guards who are at the hospital, supposedly making sure Theresa doesn't escape,
They're
hear
so
Eve,
stupid.
because Eve was yelling so loudly on
Yeah.
the phone. She's like,
Yeah.
Ethan, is Theresa with you? Where
Yeah.
are you and Theresa? And so
Right.
it was ridiculous. The guards kind of come over and they question her about it. And
Yeah.
of course she lies and says that she's in the laboratory, and that she has to have some more tests done and have some tests run. You don't go to the lab to get your tests run.
No.
They take your blood
They take your blood to the
to
lab.
the lab.
Yeah.
Now,
Yep.
if she was saying she's in X-ray or she's in she's getting a CT scan or something, like, okay, you have to take them for that. But just the lab?
No, she is a bad liar in this moment for sure.
Well, they go for it, kinda. They're like,
They're dumb as that. They're so dumb. Every time they showed up, they're like, "Hey, are you talking over there?" It's like, "Yeah, like we are." They're so stupid. All right,
yeah,
keep going.
they are so stupid. So they ask about Teresa's whereabouts. She lies, says she's in the lab, and then they're like, well, we're gonna check that out. And then absolutely everybody over here just kind of deflects, is like, well, you're gonna feel real stupid when you go up there. And TC's like, you're gonna feel real stupid when you go up there and prove my wife right. And that deters them from going
They're
to
like
check.
shamed, and they're like, "You're probably right." They're yeah, they worked. So funny.
It
You
was so
fool.
stupid.
Yeah.
So Eve gets Ethan on the phone again. So then she tells him about Teresa's condition, that is
Yeah.
real,
She could be
including the
have
possible
psychosis.
yes, including the possible psychosis, right?
Yeah.
Ethan's like, no, Teresa could never become violent. First of
As
all,
if she couldn't without the psychosis. Like, as if without any problem with her, she couldn't kill someone, I think. And I'm not even judging her for that. I'm just saying that Teresa is capable of that, and he should know that.
he doesn't really know Teresa very well, to be honest.
Oh,
If we're being honest, he doesn't
right.
actually know her very well. But also,
No.
it was just ridiculous that he's just like negating what the doctor is telling him, the specialist, the marvelous specialist, Eve Russell, right?
Who knows? She knows. And
She,
she's-
you know, she knows more than he does about this, but he's like, no, that could never happen to Teresa. She's not like that. And he's like, well, it's not about her being like that or like this.
That's what psychosis would be. Like, yeah.
Right. It would put her outside of who she is. And that's the whole point.
Yeah.
Well, Gwen is still in there. Gwen and Teresa are bickering. Ethan is not in the room, is off on the phone, right?
Yeah.
Teresa grabs those scissors. And again, Gwen has just been berating her. She turns her back. And she's still just like talking that mad shit, yapping.
Yeah.
Teresa grabs those scissors and stabs Gwen in the back. And she yells her, "You bitch!" Now, I did not like the fact that Gwen got stabbed, though, but the framing of it made me laugh, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Like, I thought it was horrific that she got stabbed, but the way it was shot was
also,
why did they shoot it like that?
Watching the show was has been annoyed with Gwen being like a dick to Teresa's just not. That was kind of like a great cathartic thing because she should have stabbed her a billion times. So it was kind of nice to see her actually just be like, shut up, and then stab her.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say she should have stabbed her a million times, but I am going to say...
Not a million times, but just once.
What's a little stab here and there?
Yeah, just a little poke.
So she stabs her with the scissors, and then so Gwen starts to go down. She yells for Ethan, and and Teresa says, I think she sings, "Ethan can't help you, Gwenny." Like, it was
she's so creepy. Norma,
Ethan can't help you, Gwenny, and then she says, "This is it, Gwen." And mind you, Teresa now, the labor, the contractions, none of it is happening.
What happened to that? I guess it was like mad power that made her forget it.
I don't know. Her brain.
I noticed that. I actually rewinded it to be like, did I miss something? I was confused by that.
Yeah, she's no longer in
labor.
In labor, it seems. It the psychosis stopped the labor.
Yeah,
so just
all along.
Yeah, for just enough time for her to stab Gwen a couple of times. Right. So she kind of chases Gwen down, and she gives her this little speech about, you and your bitch mother have been out to get me ever since Ethan broke off your engagement. And now you're trying to steal him away from me. You're going to be dead, Gwen, dead. And she stabs her again.
Yeah, it's very stressful.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
So Gwen screams, of course. Ethan hears her scream, runs in there, and is shocked by the scene. Drops the phone when he runs in.
Yeah.
But Eve is on the line the entire time, just like, hello, Ethan. So just keep that in mind, that the people in Harmony are on the line with Ethan throughout all of this, but they can't really hear anything. So then Ethan runs in. Teresa, what have you done? This line was so good. The delivery Lindsay gave was so good. She goes, Gwen stabbed me in the back, so I returned the favor. That's a great little villain kind of, line.
Yeah, it's that part of Teresa coming out.
Yeah, so she then turns on Ethan though, which I loved this part.
Me too.
Like, the stabbing of Gwen, I was not crazy about, but her chasing Ethan, I was like, yeah, get him.
Yeah, he's annoying. Get it out.
So she turns on Ethan saying, you lying bastard. You didn't forget about Gwen, even when you said you loved me. Right. And she says, I'm going to get you for leading me on. Yeah. And Ethan tries to reason with her.
I love what he does.
And he's like, no, you have preeclampsia. It's just making you a little off balance, is what he says to her, or making you unbalanced.
Crazy. Yeah,
and she says, she screams, I am not unbalanced. Oh my God, it was so good. I am not unbalanced. And then she just starts knocking shit over. It was so good. Oh, it was so good. I was like, yes, girl, just tear this motherfucker up. I loved it.
Is it the first time that she's ever really gone off on Ethan?
Yeah. No, she would never show that side of herself to Ethan ever. Yeah. And this isn't really like who she is at her core. She's just like in a state of psychosis, right? Yeah. And so, but it does show that she is in there somewhere, right? Like she's capable of it.
Yep.
So she's knocking shit over. She's screaming, I am not unbalanced. I am angry at what you did to me. And then he says, what have I done but tried to help you, Theresa? And she says, you've always loved Gwen. That's why our relationship didn't work out. That's why you don't want to run away with me now. You never really loved me, Ethan. You lied to me. You led me on. And now I'm going to make you pay. You're both going to pay with your lives. And she just starts chasing them around with those scissors. Oh, it was so good. It was so good. So she's chasing them around the cabin with the scissors, saying, I'm going to kill you. And she manages to kind of slice Ethan's arm.
Yeah.
And then he throws like a pitcher of water on her and she snaps out of it.
Hilarious.
She's like, oh my God.
That was so funny. It was just like out of something in Eureka, if I have to say it again. Like it was just very like supernatural. Like it made no sense. He was like, and like did that. And she was like, wait, what? And it's like, yeah, okay. I don't know if that's how psychosis works, but okay.
Right. I'm pretty sure that's not how psychosis works at all. So, he throws the water on her. She snaps right out of it and she's completely confused about what's going on. She is she's actually legitimately horrified to see what's going on. She was like, Gwen, Gwen, you're bleeding from your back. What's going on? She sees the scissors in her hand. She screams. She drops them. Like she definitely did not know. When they said
she did it, it was like this horrific thing for her to like. I felt so bad for her. I was like, she's like giving birth. It's all this crap, and then like this, it's like, just like pretend it didn't happen until after the baby, and then confront her.
I felt really I did feel bad for her. Like it was like, oh, poor thing. Like because like Gwen is one thing, but Ethan
gonna have a meltdown. She'd kill herself over doing that, like Theresa would, So yeah.
So it did make me feel bad for her. It actually reminded me of another show I watch. It's an anime. You watch anime at all?
I love that shit. Yeah, I do.
Do you watch Jujutsu Kaisen?
No.
That's okay. It's okay. It just reminded me.
I really am into slice of life stuff, and then and some other stuff. I like One Piece a lot, like really simple kid stuff like that.
I love Naruto. Like I haven't watched One Piece. Well, that's not true. I've watched like 160 episodes of One Piece, but
but you haven't watched it like how you're watching Captains. Yeah.
And I gave up. Like I watched it and I was like, I've watched so much of this and gotten nowhere.
Yeah. It's a lot.
Yeah. But we can talk. We'll talk more about anime. But there's because I like slice of life stuff too. Actually, have you watched Apothecary Diaries?
No.
Oh, you should watch that one. I feel like you would love.
I love even just the sound of it.
I think you would love Apothecary Diaries. It is so good. But anyway, this portion of this reminded me of a part in Jujutsu Kaisen where a character completely destroys like part of Tokyo, but he himself didn't do it. It was like this monster that was in him
took over him. And
then he wakes up and he's like, oh my God. And I felt so bad for him. I was like, oh my God, that's so horrific.
Right. How do you grapple with that?
How do you grapple with it? You technically
did it, and people could like, they remember you doing it. There's probably footage of you doing it.
Yeah.
Kind of did it. Yeah.
So that's what's going on with Theresa. She doesn't remember. She's confused. She doesn't remember. She's like, how did I get here? What's going on? And then she goes right back into labor. Right. Yeah. She's like, and she starts having contractions again. The wounds on Gwen's back aren't very deep, apparently.
It's shocking. Yeah. Apparently both of them didn't do anything. Like she could walk away from that.
Yeah, she's up walking around. She's fine.
You would
I don't
get
know.
like to the heart through the back. Like you
I
could get
feel like
through a lot like through the back.
I also feel like if I were Gwen, I'm milking the fuck out of this. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm
no,
milking
that
this.
makes sense.
Oh, she's
Yeah.
in pain. I'm in pain too. This
Yeah.
bitch
I got
stabbed me. I don't care if
in
she
the
was in
literal
psychosis.
back. Yeah. Yeah. And
This
yeah.
bitch stabbed me. I do not get to fuck her. I don't care.
Yeah.
And Gwen says as
But
much
she
at one
doesn't.
point. She's like, I don't really want to be here with her. Like, I would rather be anywhere else but here. And
Right.
for me, it was like, yeah, girl, at least go to the other room. If I was Gwen, like, I wouldn't even be able to be in there with her.
Yes, me neither.
But Theresa starts going into labor. They're all trying to help her have this baby. And then we get this little song where they're having her sing.
What the hell was that?
It was ridiculous.
I know what it was, but it's like, what the hell was that?
So Ethan's telling Theresa, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. And then they sing the theme song to the show and do choreography.
Choreograph thing. Yeah, it's very unnerving. It's surreal. Yeah.
I think had Gwen not been stabbed in the back a couple of times, I would have been more on board with it. But like she literally got stabbed in the back.
Was very like it was also very passions. Like to just randomly be like, and this is happening now. It's like, okay, like I guess I'll just go with it.
Yeah. So yeah, she's in full labor and then her water breaks and it's like this is it that she's having the baby here. That's what it is. At the hospital, meanwhile, Sam has like called FBI agent Freeman, if anybody remembers that guy from the Sheridan Buried Alive storyline.
Right.
Calls him to get him to trace the call from where Ethan from whatever her name is, Eve's cell phone, because she's still connected to Ethan's phone.
Right. They want to know where he is.
It doesn't work. They talked about it so much. Of course it didn't work. And then Ivy finally just tells Sam and Luis where Theresa and Ethan are, but in hopes that Sam can get there and get Ethan first and like, cover up his crime. Let's be clear. In hopes that Sam can get there and cover up Ethan's crime.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But those guards discovered that Theresa's gone and they deduced that Ethan was the one that helped her escape, and they stopped Sam and Luis from leaving. And that's like where we ended this week. There's not, it's like a cliffhanger. We don't know what's going to happen. Right.
Yeah.
So you got any more to add to that whole storyline?
I really don't.
All right. Now let's move on to the magic storyline. Ooh.
I love that.
Me too. I'm still so grateful to Eric for like sending me some of these clips that are so clean, because I was never gonna do it myself.
Totally.
I was never gonna do it. Okay, thank you, Eric. Let's get into this magic storyline. Tabitha is looking for Timmy without going anywhere.
Headless man, yeah.
Yeah, her and the head are hanging on her attic.
Mm-hmm.
And he tells her, well, if you're looking for Timmy and want to know where Timmy is, why don't you ask the scroll again? Because she keeps asking the head, like, where's Timmy? Who's after Timmy? Da da da. He's like, ask the scroll again. And so she opens it up and it shows Timmy with Julian Crane. And Tabitha is shocked. She says, can anything kill off those damn cranes?
Yeah.
Which is a big contender for this episode.
Is that why you're going to use it? Yeah, I was going to ask.
It's a big contender for the episode title. There's a couple more, but
anything, it's like they're like cockroaches. Like they just
can anything kill off those damn cranes?
No.
So Timmy and Julian are wandering the night in their, Wizard of Oz fantasy thing, and their part of the show is in black and white at this point, which I thought was really like a nice little touch for passion.
It was creative, yeah.
And because anybody who hasn't seen The Wizard of Oz, which if you haven't, what are you doing?
Who are you? Yeah.
Yeah. How did you make it this far and nobody forced you to watch that movie? But the first part of it when she's in Kansas is in black and white, and then when she goes to Oz, it turns into color, right? When she goes across over the rainbow. So anyway, they are in black and white. They're wandering, and Timmy's looking for a specific ingredient, which I guess is a demon horn.
A demon horn. It's a horn something. I don't know if it's called a demon horn. Is it? It's something horn. It's a horn.
Yeah, I'm some kind of horn. I think it was a demon
I
horn.
think you're right. You're probably right.
And he's got that page from the spell book,
Right.
and he sees a symbol on a billboard that matches the page in the spell book that he
Right.
for the ingredient that he's looking for, this demon horn thing, right?
Yeah.
And
It's
so
like
he's
an M,
like, that's it.
right?
That's the thing
Or
Timmy's
was it
looking
a
for.
W or an M?
I think it's a W because
Okay. Wizard. Okay.
it's a
Got it.
wizard. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So Timmy sees this symbol. It's on a billboard. They walk over. They see that the billboard reads, "The Wizard. See him at Over the Rainbow Hotel. He'll help you find what you need."
Yeah.
So they head to the Over the Rainbow Hotel once
That's
they
what it
stumble
reads.
upon a yellow brick road. Of course they do. And everything goes into color.
Right.
And then I think Julian says, if we have to find the wizard, I guess we have to now follow the yellow brick road
It's
to
like I
find the
wonder if
wizard.
these characters have seen the movie because like if they hadn't seen the movie, it would be like if they had seen the movie, it would be very obvious exactly what was happening, and they seemed kind of confused by it. So it was almost like they didn't know what Wizard of Oz was.
Yeah, I think that they have seen the movie. I think like they do know what the references are. It seems to me
Okay.
that Julian understands. Maybe not Timmy. It doesn't necessarily seem that Timmy
Right.
understands
He
the
seems just
references.
so focused on charity and unawares.
But Julian, it seemed that he was like,
He knows the rules of Wizard of Oz. You're right.
yeah,
That's why he gets dressed up and stuff. Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
they get on the yellow brick road, and then this music starts playing. Follow the road with the yellow bricks. It's like
They
Munchkin
can't
singing.
copyright do it.
Yeah, it's Munchkin singing. Follow the road with the yellow bricks. Follow the road with the yellow bricks. Follow. Like it was. I thought it was hilarious.
It
Just
is.
and honestly, that might be the name of the episode too. Follow the road with the
Follow
yellow
the
bricks
Yeah.
because it's just
That's a good one
wrong.
too. I like that one better because I feel like you have a lot of Crane titles and that one's unique.
Yeah. Follow the road with the yellow bricks.
It's like almost, you almost got
You
it.
almost got it. Bless it. And so they follow the road with the yellow bricks, and they make their way to this hotel, and they get inside, and Julian makes a quip about, oh, I thought Rebecca's decorating was bright. I thought,
Yeah.
because inside it's it's almost like demented Art Deco. Like it's
Yeah.
almost, like
Yeah. It was very avant-garde Munchkins. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and so there's nobody there at first, and then all of these these munchkins in brightly colored clothing like appear, and they're having a good time partying, smoking, drinking. Julian's glad to see they have a bar. He goes and buys a full bottle of like
He loves that no
scotch.
one recognizes him as Julian Crane. He's like partying with the Munchkins like
Yeah.
free.
Yep.
Yeah.
Drinking his booze and having a good time.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Timmy goes around asking people about the wizard and that symbol. He's like, do you know what this symbol means? Do you know how I can get in touch with the wizard? Nobody can give him any real information, and they kind of razz him a lot. Like, he asks something about the wizard, and one of them says, think of something red, something hot, and something you're not. And it's like, okay.
It's rude.
And then Julian, this was funny. Julian asks one of them about like, where can we find the wizard? And the munchkin tells him, follow the road with the yellow bricks. And it makes him snap. Like, he's like, you little motherfucker, you're gonna tell me what it. And then the room just goes silent. He's like, thank you for that great advice. Follow the road with the yellow bricks. Of course.
You're not annoying at all.
He snapped though, and it was so funny.
Julian Crane, yeah. It's a very Crane thing.
They're doing this thing with Julian where they're redeeming him.
Yeah.
And they're wiping away any of his
Predatory fast. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He
They're
is really cute with Julie. I mean, I think yes, but he's being very cute with Timmy. The way he talks, like he calls him. What does he call him? I think he calls him girlfriend at one point, and it's like, adorable. Yeah.
he's cute. I mean, they're cute together, but they
Yes.
are. I will not forget what Julian has done. They're not going to make me forget it. And I want to be clear about that going forward to everybody. I am not going to forget what Julian did to Sheridan. I'm not going to forget what Julian did to Luis. I'm not going to forget what he did to Ethan. I'm not going to forget what he did to Theresa. I'm not going to forget what he did to Eve. I'm not going to forget. They can try this cutesy shit all they want to.
Yep.
And we like Julian as a character, right? Like I like Julian as a character.
Actor. I think we like the actor who's playing Julian, and we have to be like, you're very charming, but it's like Julian sucks. Like as a real character, he sucks.
Yeah, and it's gonna take a lot more than some
just him acting and you being told that he's good now. It's like, okay,
it's gonna take a lot more than him skipping down a yellow brick road to get me to like be like, yeah, Julian's all right now. No, Julian is not all right.
Right. Yeah.
So, but this is, I will say, I believe that this is kind of the beginning of his redemption arc. So fine, I'll be okay with that.
I know that's coming.
So, a munchkin tells Timmy, finally, he's like, psst, hey, you looking for the wizard? I can help you. I cannot remember. I've seen that man, that little person, in a bunch of stuff, and I cannot remember what his name is or what I've seen him in, but I've seen him in so many things.
I wonder if I could. It's too confusing. I won't do it.
I was like, am I going to type in passions?
And like that episode, like it's just
weird. I eventually I could figure it out. It was just it'll just take me some time. But I've seen him in a bunch of stuff. But he's like, hey kid, you wanna see the wizard? It's gonna cost you. And Timmy's like, well, I don't have much, just this. And he's like, that's enough. And he takes his money. And he's like, if you want to see the wizard, this is what you have to do. He whispers something to him. And then the next thing we see is Timmy and Julian are changing clothes, changing into, of course, some sort of costume. They step out and Timmy is dressed as Dorothy Gale. And Julian is dressed as the Cowardly Lion.
Yes, which makes so much sense for him. It's like perfect.
Yeah. Well, see, when they first started off on their little adventure, like last week or a week before, when it was like very clear we were doing a Wizard of Oz thing, I called him the Scarecrow.
I thought you would say the Tin Man. Okay.
I called him the Scarecrow, if he only had a brain.
Yeah.
But coward really works. Really,
it makes more sense because it kind of encapsulates the not having a brain and not having a heart in one. Like it's like he's just a coward and he can't help it.
Yeah, he's off and he's outrunning like away from all of these people who are he's terrified that people are out to kill him. So yeah.
He is a coward.
He absolutely is a coward. So they're dressed up in this hotel and then they just like skip around.
Yeah.
I was like, what are we doing? What is the plan? What did that man tell you? He just told you need to dress up like Dorothy and the lion? No,
they don't ever really explain themselves, but
they skip around this hotel.
Kind of go with it, and yeah.
The next thing I wrote is they skip around the hotel for a while. Something about a breast augmentation.
Yeah. See, all the munchkins tell Timmy he needs a breast augmentation because in his dress, I mean, he is very like flat, but
he's like, a little boy.
Of course, so it's just like very rude and like whatever.
Yeah. And of course, Julian makes a little joke about like because Timmy doesn't know what that is. He asks, and Julian says, "Well, it's something that you'll appreciate when you're older." And, yeah. So anyway,
okay.
Tabitha and the head are watching everything on this magic scroll, and the head keeps saying that there's more trouble ahead for Timmy.
He doesn't say what, but he keeps saying he's going to die soon at the end of the road.
He keeps saying that. He's like, the yellow brick road is a dead end for Timmy. Emphasis on the dead. It's like, okay, what?
Also, Tabitha kept forgetting that. He said it several times, and Tabitha kept then in the next scene being like, well, what could go wrong? He's on the yellow brick road. And it's like, the head has already told you that that's ominous. But like, she kept being like, it's fine. But then finally it does stick at a certain point. She's like, okay.
Yeah,
and he is right. So
we'll see what happens with that in a moment. Now we have to talk about what's going on with Kay and Miguel and this zombie.
Oh my God. Oh, okay.
I know. I'm
just gonna awkwardly sit here while you talk about it.
I hated
this awkward
so much. I hated so much of this because
why? Because it was so uncomfortable.
Because essentially we watch Miguel get assaulted, and I don't
rage. And also just like the hands thing was like so surreal. It was very like sleep paralysis-y and like very, I don't know, scary.
It was horrible. I did not like it.
I hate him almost waking up sometimes and being like, wait, what's happening? It's like, shh, just go back to sleep.
Yeah.
Don't even know it.
It was pretty bad, honestly. Yeah. This was one of those times when it's like, Passions is showing its age, right? Like we're seeing
Okay.
like this
Did
is,
you get the like hills have eyes kind of vibe too from the demons? Like I got that kind of vibe from it.
you know,
Like
I've
the
never seen The Hills Have
I
Eyes.
haven't either actually, but I know enough about it that that was like that type of horror movie where it was like Jeepers Creepers kind of vibes from the guys coming
Mm,
up. It was really creepy. It scared
yeah.
me.
It
I'm
it was
easy to
scary as
scare.
it was very scary and uncomfortable, and like if I mean Passions is so goofy that it's
It
like,
is yeah, you can tolerate it.
yeah, but
It was dark.
I didn't love this. So let's
Yeah.
talk about it. So I think I need to start with what happened last week. Kay was at the church with Father Lonigan. Father Lonigan told Kay told Father Lonigan the whole story about what's going on with Miguel and Charity and the succubus and all of that. He knows everything. Of course he fucking does. He knows everything. So last week he told Kay, you need to pray. Come in. The only thing we can do for Miguel is to pray for him. So they're praying, they're praying. Kay got very frustrated, feeling like this isn't working. This isn't gonna
Yeah.
do anything.
Yeah.
And so she grabs something that we didn't see last week, but we're gonna find out this week what it is. She grabs something
Perfume.
and she's like, this'll
Grab
do
some
it.
perfume. Yeah.
Yeah. And she runs out and she leaves. So this week we pick up with Kay desperately looking for Miguel and Charity or zombie Charity trying to figure out where they are. And she prays to God for help. She says, please God, help me find Miguel before the succubus has killer sex with him. And that line just
have
made me
we
laugh.
like agreed that she's a succubus, like not a zombie so much as a succubus?
Okay. Yes, we agree that she is a succubus, I guess. I
She
guess.
seems more like that to me because that's why I said the sleep paralysis thing. That's like zombie, like, or that's like a succubus equivalent. So I feel like she is. I keep being like, she's not a zombie. She like is something else.
Zombie was used in the sense of a person who will do your bidding,
Right,
right?
who
Who
isn't
just
really
will
a person.
mindlessly do whatever you
But
tell
she's
them to
like
do.
not mindless anymore, and she's like
Right.
clearly a demon. So
Right. So
yeah,
yeah. So we're going with succubus, demon, what have you. They're all, yeah. So she calls her a succubus, says before the succubus has killer sex with Miguel, please help me find them.
yeah.
Miguel is on his back, being restrained by two sets of hands, one on his arms, one on his legs. And it's just like dead hands that are coming up from under the ground, again, being just like held down. He can't get up, he can't move. And he's disoriented. He's like, what's going on? Zombie Charity's on top of him, like trying to kiss him, trying to like make what they say make love to him, but assaulting him.
Right.
And he hears Father Lonigan's voice praying for him. And so that kind of makes him snap out of it a little bit, but then she's like, don't fight it, Miguel. Because he says, Father Lonigan, I hear him praying for me. And she says, don't fight it, Miguel. Father Lonigan was praying for you not to lose your virginity and your life. And it's like these little jokes, the context is just so fucked up. Like the last week or the week before, one of these weeks, the last time this bitch tried to have sex with him, they were like at a hotel and it was at least somewhat more consensual. It was at least like he was like trying to do this thing and it was good. Like, this week it's just it's hard to watch this young man being like restrained.
He's literally getting raped and it's like really creepy and it's hard to find humor in it. It's hard to be like
I couldn't find the joke
on her side. Yeah, it's not funny.
I couldn't laugh. I couldn't laugh at the joke. And she made a bunch of like jokes about him losing his virginity and but also your life. And
well, I think then you're on Kay's side. You see that it's not funny. Like that's like you're on Kay's side because it's like it isn't, and she sees it that way too, kind of.
Yeah. So the zombies forcefully trying to have sex with him, but Kay finds them in the graveyard. Miguel is completely out of it. The zombie gets up and confronts Kay and tells her, "You can't stop this, Kay." Like. And then Kay says, well, yes, I can because I have this. And she breaks out a little bottle of holy water.
It's a perfume bottle and it's filled with holy water.
Yeah, it was just a little perfume bottle of holy water. And she tells her, stay away from Miguel or get burned with holy water, bitch. And she didn't say the bitch. I added that. But that's what it should have said. Anyway. So she starts to kind of deter the zombie away from Miguel, and she tries to free Miguel, but the zombie hands have him too far down, like too firm of a grip on him, basically. And then one grabs her too.
Yeah.
And then Zombie Charity like controls a bunch of other corpses. Dun, 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 thriller. They come to life.
Yeah.
And they do the dance, and no, they don't do the dance, but they grab Kay, restrain her. So now
so creepy.
Kay is being held back by these zombies.
Yeah.
And then Miguel starts to come too, and he's like, what's going on? And she says, Zombie Charity's like, oh, I need to just give him another dose of like my spell to make him compliant.
Like my like love booty or something. She's
yeah,
just, like,
and
weird like that. Yeah, I
yeah, but it was basically, you know,
she has to drug him again, basically.
Exactly, that's exactly what she has to drug him again. So she like does a little spell on him, and he gets knocked out again. And he's like,
blonde Diddy or something.
It was horrible. And she starts to just like make out with him again and starts like assault him some more. Then Father Lonigan shows up. This pissed me off because he shows up. Kay's like, Father Lonigan, because obviously he can't see what's going on. So Kay has to explain to him what's going on. She yells, it says, you have to do something. He says, I can't help I can't help Kay. You brought the evil to Harmony, so you're the one who has to force it out. What the fuck what are you talking about?
What good are you for real, bro?
No good whatsoever. And so now Zombie Charity is assaulting Miguel between Father Lonigan and Kay on the other side. Like Kay's on one side, Father Lonigan's on the other side. Everybody's just like standing around. Well, Father Lonigan's just standing around. Kay's fighting against those zombies.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's just gonna stand there and let this happen, saying, you brought the evil, you have to be the one to force it out. You can't say a prayer.
You can't also like just throw yourself physically into the situation and try to stop it. Like just like throw yourself into it a little bit, even not literally. Like he just is like, well, whatever will be. And it's like, okay, thanks.
Yeah, it's like, why did you even come here? What did you come here for if you can't do anything?
Yeah, what are you doing?
Exactly. Yeah, what did you come here for if you are not going to do anything? Yeah. And at all.
He does end up praying and making something happen though.
Does he?
Kind of. Like they kind of like, don't they like get
my next note?
My
next note is that Kay prays.
But that's what it was. It was Kay does it, but I was thinking kind of it as like Kay was getting on board with Father Lonigan, but you're right. He didn't actually do anything.
He didn't even tell her to do that. She just prayed. He didn't even tell her to pray.
Right. I think
he just told her she has to be the one to force it out.
It was more that he just acknowledged after the fact that praying helped. You're right. He didn't.
Okay. Yeah, because he didn't do anything. He didn't do a damn thing.
Yeah.
And so Kay says a prayer. Yeah. And the zombies end up letting her go. Yeah. And then she attacks Zombie Charity with the holy water. And then she attacks the other zombies with holy water. She successfully defeats the zombies. Yeah. And Zombie Charity says, I'll be back for you and Miguel, my pretty. And she actually says, no one in Harmony is safe. So we'll see what that means. And so she runs off. Miguel wakes up, right? Like all the zombie stuff goes away.
Annoying. Yeah, he doesn't.
Miguel wakes up. He doesn't remember anything. He doesn't know what's going on. He's so confused. Mind you, his shirt is off. He's covered in sweat.
He was laying down in the mud. So he's like a naked man that has mud on him.
And he wakes up confused, doesn't know what's going on. Kay, of all people, is about to tell the truth. Very close, is about to say, hey, this is what's going on.
To warn him that this predator is literally trying to like steal his life. It's like pretty pertinent information.
And as soon as she starts to speak, Father Lonigan cuts her off, interrupts her to lie to Miguel.
Yeah.
To lie to Miguel. He is the worst fucking priest. He is the worst. Again, as I've said a million times, everybody in this town is terrible at their fucking jobs. Yeah. And how many times have we heard Father Lonigan tell Kay specifically that she needs to tell the truth?
Right. And
right?
he's like, but even when you do, you're fucked. Like, he's like, I won't help you no matter what.
He
Pretty much.
sucks. He
Yeah, he
sucks.
does.
He
He does.
so he interrupts Kay and lies to Miguel, telling him, "Oh, you were just so distraught over Theresa that you were exhausted and you fell asleep here in the graveyard."
Naked, like it's like that doesn't happen. If someone, I would think I had been abducted by aliens or something. If I was like woke up naked in the mud, I'd be like, what happened? Like,
I
you
would
have
definitely
to
think
be-
something bad happened to me.
Sleepwalking does not account for that.
I would definitely think that something bad happened to me for sure.
I would at least consider it.
Yeah. But your priest is telling you that nothing happened.
Right.
Right? Your priest, who you believe is basically infallible, is telling you lies and telling you
just to go back to sleep and it's nothing happened.
that you're just exhausted. They gave him the charity treatment.
They were
You
like,
were just tired.
You need to take a nap. You're not hallucinating. You're just tired. It's like, okay.
You were so tired. You just fell asleep. You don't know. That's why you don't remember.
That's exactly right. And the annoying thing is he knows it's something else too.
Yeah. Father Lonigan in this moment, I know I have given Father Lonigan a lot of shit over the years.
Yeah, he's annoying.
But this fucking tears it for me. The fact that he lied and kept Kay from telling the truth.
Think of it, take the supernatural out of it and picture like two people witnessing a crime like that and then the person who was the victim coming to them and then telling them it didn't happen. It's just like, that's actually what happened. Even magic makes it seem kind of more confusing, but it's not. Like,
well, Miguel asks, well, what about, where's Charity after all? Because the last time he left the church with Charity.
right.
It's like, where's Charity? Father Lonigan tells him, oh, she has something to go take care of. So she left me here asleep in a graveyard?
Right.
It doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense.
He's drunk in the Kool-Aid. He's like, he's such a victim at this point. He's like willing to believe anything.
Yeah, I guess so.
So to win it with Charity.
He decides, he's like, well, I guess I need to go and check on Theresa. I'm going to go back to the hospital and check on Theresa. So he leaves. And then Kay rightfully asks Father Lonigan why he didn't let her tell Miguel the truth.
And she wants Father to go do it. Yeah.
Yeah. And Father Lonigan says, because he would never believe you. Since he was under a spell, he doesn't remember what happened. Yes, and what is your point?
Yeah. That actually gives more, like, it makes more sense to tell him. If he doesn't have that information at all, then you have to like help him out a little bit.
He's in mortal danger.
Yeah. And it's not like it's going to stop. She literally like stopped and then she's like, I'm going to get right back to that as soon as I can. So he's really is in danger.
I was disgusted. I was disgusted by Father Lonigan.
I think Kay was on the money though. I think her instincts were right. And I think if she hadn't listened to Father Lonigan, it would have been fine. Like not fine, but it would have been the smarter move.
She says to him, so we need to lie about it? And he says to her, well, we just need to continue to pray and hope that there's someone out there who can
might be able to help other than us. Putting it on like a maybe someone else.
You know what would help is if Miguel knew what was going on and could protect himself.
As if like maybe like if a priest and a best friend tried to intervene.
And I think exactly. Yes, as maybe someone out there could help. You mean us?
Someone.
You mean the two of us who know everything?
Person? Yeah, exactly.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And yeah, this disgusted me. It drove me crazy. And I don't know why every time Father Lonigan does some bullshit, every new thing is worse than the last. Because the last bad thing was that he just let Theresa take the fall for this murder that he knows she didn't commit. Right.
Yeah. No, I think he literally just serves as like, although he has like this like better kind of like title, like I think he serves as like a I don't know the word for it, but like someone to hold back the flow of the story. Like that's actually his function. Even though he's supposed to be a good guy, his function is to like act as a dam for the information. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He does do that. He's worst. He gets in the way. He's annoying. He's the worst. This really made me sick. Like, why are you lying?
and you're a priest. And I think it's because he's such a hypocrite.
Yeah.
Because he has told Kay over and over again, specifically Kay. Like, he's told everybody, but he has said it to Kay so many times, like, you just need to tell the truth. You have to tell the truth. You need to tell the truth. And now you're lying for her? What are you want? And when she wants to tell the truth?
It's not even forcing her. Yeah, it's not for her. It's like you're forcing her to lie.
Yeah, you're lying despite her. Like, you're
actually like enabling what you said you're trying to help, basically.
Yeah. So
stupid.
Anyway, Zombie Charity makes her way back to Tabitha's house, and she brings Tabitha up to speed on everything that's going on and how Kay has once again thwarted her plan. And I just want to say, Tabitha told Zombie Charity months and months and months ago, you need to watch out for Kay. You don't underestimate Kay. That girl is better than you think she is.
Yep.
And she's proven herself. She's proven Tabitha right over and over again.
Yeah.
So, Zombie Charity then turns her attention back towards Timmy, back on like, I'm gonna kill Timmy. I want to say again, I've said this like last week, maybe the week before. I'm very much sick of Zombie Charity. They can get rid of her now. I've had it. Officially, she doesn't ever do.
She's gross.
She doesn't actually ever get anything done.
Yeah.
You know, I think if she ever actually fully finished anything, I would be like, okay, but
if she was an act of chaos in the show for not for good, but for momentum and like moved it forward, it would be good. But she is old at this point. Like, it's tired. Also, it's like the whole, like, the fact that I referenced the hills have eyes thing, it kind of is indicative of the whole thing. Like, it's dark at this point and just like too dark to like actually serve a purpose.
Yeah, because the thing about Tabitha. No, because the thing about Tabitha as like the villain of the story is that she's quirky, she's fun, and she kills some people from time to time, but you know, she's quirky, it's fun, it's it's like and she's supposed to be like this evil being who does these nefarious things, and Zombie is also supposed to be this evil being that does nefarious things, but she doesn't ever actually fully follow through with any of her plans. I keep saying this. They need to just give Tabitha back her powers.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes. Oh my God. I want Tabitha to be powerful again so much.
Because at least
does she ever smite this woman? Like, does she like get the upper hand at any point, or is that a spoiler? You can't.
Who, Tabitha?
Yeah. Because I don't know. Remember, I don't have no idea.
I honestly don't remember, because my memory of Tabitha, I did not remember her not having her. I don't remember her not having her.
Charity, like Zombie Charity, gets like obliterated. I like want to know.
I don't know. I do not know. I'm very much ready for this to be over myself.
I hear you. Yeah.
And I have no clue when it's gonna. I do think it's gonna end this summer. I think we're gonna be done with this.
It's annoying, big bad.
I think we'll be done with this in the next couple of months.
Cool.
Because she has been on for a long time, and I am like at the point where I'm like, okay, y'all can let her go.
Yeah.
And I'm sure other viewers were at that same point with her at this point too. So, but yeah, with Tabitha, like at least like remember how Tabitha like burned down Faith's house, killed Faith?
No, like yes.
Tabitha's gotten some shit done.
Burned like a guy alive. The guy at the gas station, she burned.
Yep, she killed the tax man. Tabitha has gotten some shit done, and Zombie just keeps talking big talk, but she doesn't ever get anything done. She can't even kill Timmy. She can't even kill Timmy.
Angry about it. Yeah. She can't even kill Timmy. He's her biggest threat. It's like he is the most innocent, sweet person. Like, he's so easy to defeat, by the way.
Yeah.
I could kill him in a second, and so could anyone.
She's pathetic. She's pathetic. She's not going to win anything. And so they need to give Tabitha back her powers. This is so ridiculous. So she has decided she's going to kill Timmy, right? Like, she's decided, like, I'm back to being mad at Timmy. And she figured out that Timmy... she sees him in the scroll. She sees him with the paper, and that he's looking for the demon horn or whatever. And so she decides to send an evil scarecrow after Timmy and Julian. The evil scarecrow chases them around with a pitchfork, and it seems like it might be over. Julian like crawls away, very cowardly lion, right? Yes. He crawls away like, I have to get away from you.
Yeah, he's like, you're on your own, girlfriend. Goodbye.
That's exactly. And but he musters the courage to save Timmy by setting the scarecrow on fire with a random cigar. He didn't have it, and then he did.
It makes sense you'd have a random cigar.
So he lit the scarecrow on fire, and it was destroyed. So then Zombie Charity sends in, of course, the Tin Man next, like an evil Tin Man, but this time she sends him with a chainsaw, and now he's chasing them around this hotel with a chainsaw. And that is where we ended it this week. Do you have anything to add to that?
I don't. No, I don't.
I have nothing more to say on this front. I am enjoying the Timmy Julian stuff.
I think it's interesting. I definitely don't think it's annoying. Like, I think it's very, very, it's very passions, and I love it like a lot. But I'm not over that. I agree with you that the zombie charity thing is kind of over, but I like that whole Timmy Julian thing. Even from before the Wizard of Oz thing, I like them as a team.
Me too.
So yeah.
No, I'm enjoying the Timmy and Julian stuff. I'm really enjoying. And a lot of times in the Magic storyline, there's a lot about this Magic storyline that I don't like, that I don't care about, because so much of the Tabitha and Timmy stuff does not actually move the story along. So much of it is just goofiness.
It's just kitschy, yeah.
But this, while it is very goofy and there is a lot of goofiness here, it absolutely is an important plot. Right? Yep. Because Timmy is definitely, clearly the key to saving Charity and getting rid of Zombie Charity.
Yeah, he's like the Frodo. He's like chosen to do it. Yeah.
Oh, I just watched Rings of Power, actually. I just finished it. Oh, one mug to rule them all.
My sister got it for me.
I love that.
It's dorky as hell, but I'm into that crap. Basically, that's my point, is I'm into it.
No, I am too. I'm actually rewatching the movies with my niece because she's never seen them. So we're like taking the time
to share with her. Yeah, that's such a cute.
Yeah, we're taking the time and watching them. Laura loves the
I love
Rings.
Laura. I'm such a fan of hers. I was so depressed when she was like, I was like, oh.
I know, I'm sorry.
But you know,
y'all gotta just deal with me now. But yeah.
No, it's like, it's so annoying, but I guess we have to. So
no,
but my friend just sent me a thing from Lord of the Rings about Tom Bombadil. Have you ever heard of him?
Well, I just watched the Rings of Power, and he's a character in the second season. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like this character that's like unaffected by the ring and is just super chill. I've been like for the past like a month trying to like channel him. Like I'm like trying to be Tom Bombadil. Just saying, as a side note, we don't have to get into it.
Try to channel that. I think
that. People. Yeah. Look up Tom Bombadil. Do it.
Yeah, we're watching Lord of the Rings right now, and we watched the first two. We have the third. We still have the third one to watch, and but she wanted to watch the extended editions, and I refused because I
have like a. Yeah.
No, I already watched the extended editions because Laura like made me watch the extended editions because I've seen the Lord of the Rings before. Like I've seen all those movies before.
Right.
Like, but Laura likes them a lot.
Right.
And so like I think it was during COVID actually, we decided to watch the Lord of the Rings like over a few days.
Yeah, why not?
And she owns the extended editions. So we watched the extended editions. All of them have like an extra hour and a half on 4-hour-long movies that are all like the movies are already 4 hours. Like
yeah, it's a lot.
It's too much. I told my niece, I was like, she was like, well, do you want to watch should we watch the extended edition? Like,
you're like, no.
I told her, I was like, listen, I watched the extended edition and I do not remember the extended
I died
portions.
A little inside.
Yeah, I don't remember the extended portions. And I remember watching it and thinking, this didn't need to be this fucking long.
Yeah, if you want to disassociate for an hour, then we can do it. But
yeah, but yes. Have you watched Rings of Power? Now we're just off on a tangent. I'm gonna have to cut this.
I haven't.
It's good.
You can cut this. Yeah. No, I haven't watched it, but my friend just sent me the Tom Bombadil thing, and like I actually recommend like look it up. Like his whole like existence is something that I'm trying to tap into.
Okay.
Just saying.
I'm gonna look into it. So
please do. I'm actually gonna force you. I'm gonna send you an email with the Tom Bombadil thing.
Okay.
Force you to do it. Okay.
All right. Now we're ready to move into these people over here on this island. I can't even call it Shoise anymore. I don't know what to call it.
It isn't. Yeah, it is. It's Diana and Brian.
It's Brian and Diana. Yeah, it's Brian and Diana. Ugh.
Sorry, I thought you were gonna like them.
Time to talk about these two. Oh, they suck. They suck so bad.
Totally.
Okay. So, reminder that last week Diana has made this decision that she's going to go with Nick, the nefarious Nick, so that she can basically pay off her gambling debt so that Brian doesn't have to start racing cards again. And she told Brian, like, get a clue, Brian. No girl wants to be with you. You know, she's really mean to him.
Like, get out of here, like Harry the Henderson kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Like, get out of here. We don't want you anymore. Just to save him from himself and from everything.
Something. It was very much that. It was very much, get out of here. We don't love you anymore. But, don't you understand?
You're like crying. Yeah.
Nobody wants you here. Get out of here.
I'm in love with you.
Yeah. So that happened last week. This week we pick up and Brian is like having a conversation with Liz where he doesn't believe that, he's like, I don't believe I was so wrong about Diana. Yeah. And meanwhile, Diana is in the room with Nick, like crying a little bit, saying she's upset that she has to leave Brian and she hates that she has to leave and he doesn't know why. And then she decides, like, no, I can't leave like this. I have to explain to him. So she gets ready to go, like run out, and then Nick stops her and is like, well, if you tell Brian, then if he gets into another racing accident and he dies, it'll be your fault. Okay, so that deters her from going to tell Brian the truth. I mean, like, to me, this was also stupid.
It was dumb. It was very, like, her being easy to victimize because anyone else could navigate quickly out of that situation and be like, I love him, I'm staying with him, I'm not going to go live with you, because, like, it doesn't make any sense. But
it doesn't make any sense.
The whole time I kept thinking, like, I kept trying to remember how, like, damaged Sheridan is to make sense of it, like, just to be like, okay,
yeah, but Sheridan is damaged. This girl doesn't remember
Diana isn't. No, but, like, she is still Sheridan, so, like, she still is, like, easily manipulated by men who say they have power over her. Like, that's how I thought of it.
Okay, I'll take it.
That makes sense. Yeah, we'll take anything. Any sense we can get.
However we can make sense of this, because like, I agree with you in it doesn't make any sense for you to say how much you love this man, but you're gonna go with this other man.
Like, figure it out with the man you love. Like, it's like, also, it's like, racing cars isn't that evil. Like, it's like, why can't he just be careful and race cars? Like,
the thing is, the whole thing about that is that he almost died, and the whole reason he's on the island is because
he was being reckless and he was almost dying doing that lifestyle or whatever.
Yeah. But he had promised Liz that he wouldn't do it again, and yada yada yada.
He has, like, a profession playing, like, Russian roulette. Like, that's, like, the vibe that it's like, he's fine. Like, just tell him to be safe and he'll be fine.
Yeah, I agree.
I think.
It's way better than going off with some strange man
random man to, like, have, like, a relationship with him, like, to have sex with him. Like, that was
basically bought you through deception
and guilt. Like, it's, like, so dark, and it's like, oh, Sheridan, that's such a Sheridan thing to do. Like, it's like, poor Sheridan.
It was nonsense. But so anyway, he successfully deters her from going to tell Brian the truth. And then she breaks out this locket that I've never seen. Never seen. Had you seen that locket before now?
No, you're right. No, I hadn't. I actually just assumed I missed it.
No, I've never seen this locket. Okay. And then she's like, I loved him so much.
It was like a Titanic, like, locket or something.
Well, they show us this clip of him giving her the locket. I think that's what
it's referencing. Like, the, like,
yeah, my heart will go on. It's a heart-shaped, stupid ass locket. And they show us a clip of him giving her this locket and talking about the life they had on the Titanic, who cares? Who cares? But anyway, Then they go together, Nick and Diana go together to check out, and they interrupt the conversation that Liz and Brian have been having, right? And which is basically about Diana and how they're like, I can't believe she treated you like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So they go to check out. Diana keeps up the ruse and is very rude to Brian and is very like, no girl will want you kind of thing. Like, he can offer me so much more than you could ever offer me.
Said that? Liz said that?
No, Diana.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, Diana is keeping up this ruse.
Sure.
Of pretending that she doesn't want to be with Brian, that she wants to be with Nick, and that Brian can't offer her anything. So then they leave. We get a Brian and Diana montage.
That was, I was walking my dog when I was listening to that, and like, because it was so weird and long, I was like, what's happening? And I like took my phone out to be like, I don't know, I was like, oh, it's a Brian and Diana montage. But it was it happened for so long that I was finally like, am I still watching Passions? Like, have I switched to an ambiance video or something?
I fast forwarded past it.
Me too. Once I realized what was happening.
I was not interested.
We got it. I remember. So.
Yeah. Then Liz goes down to the docks because Nick has a yacht that he has brought to pick up Diana in, I guess. And so Liz goes down to the docks and overhears a conversation between Diana and Diana and Nick, wherein Diana basically admits to the whole lie and that why she's going with him. Liz is conflicted, rightfully so. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna hold you.
It makes sense, and especially on a soap opera, you assume maybe her darker parts are gonna.
I'm not going to hold you. I would have let that lady get on that boat and leave.
I would have, if I were her too, I'd be like, this is so annoying. But she's a good person. She's a really good person, and she doesn't do that. So
she didn't. Liz is conflicted about if she should tell Brian the truth or not.
She really loves Brian. That's what they're trying to tell us. She loves him so much that she's willing to give him up if that's what he needs.
Exactly. And that's exactly what happens. She goes and tells Brian that Diana was doing this so that he wouldn't race cars anymore. And then he just actually, she does not tell him at first. And I loved this. Actually, I do kind of appreciate what happened with Liz because she was conflicted. And this is how we know she was conflicted. She hears this information. She goes back to Brian and she tries to kind of cheer him up. He's down in the dumps, of course. Yeah. He's down in the dumps. She tries to cheer him up, saying, like, why don't we go for a swim and have a picnic down at the grotto? Yeah. Like old times, like we used to.
Trying to swoop in there.
Yeah, and the timing would be terrible anyway, but he declined, saying, no, I'm not in the mood. And then he goes on this long speech and spiel about how much he loves Diana and how he was wrong about her.
He also says, I've never felt this way about another woman. Basically telling her what we had was nothing. This is something different and more important.
And Liz then tells him the truth and what's going on with Nick and Diana. And so he gets up and runs to go and try and stop her. Diana is on the yacht. They're off sailing off into the horizon, right? Yep. And Stan is on the boat, his little goon underling, Stan. And Brian runs and just jumps over the dock into the water and swims to the boat, gets up on the yacht.
To do,
swims, jumps up on the yacht, tells Diana he knows why she's doing this. He knows what's going on. She keeps up the lie for a little bit, but eventually, after he gives her a speech about how, I don't know, this is what I wrote. He gives her an impassioned speech. I don't really care. I don't care what happened, what he said. Yeah. But she finally admits that she does love him.
When I was listening to it, when she says, I do love you, Brian, I don't remember what was said, but I remember I was walking my dog and I all of a sudden was like, ugh. Like the way she does it, I'm just like, ugh. I don't know. But I don't even know why it annoyed me, but it was stupid. That's why.
Well, because it's annoying. It's annoying that we're even doing all of this. It was
so weird. And it was just like, yeah, it was just
This
like, why is Brian so important that you're breaking down and being like, I want to be with you? It's like, I just don't like him. So that's why I have a problem with it.
Well, the fact that we were even in this situation in the first place is like, bitch, why are you letting yourself be kidnapped and
Why are
trafficked?
you leaving? Yeah, with this crazy psycho who's like kidnapping you. Exactly.
Why are
Totally.
you why are you like willingly going to be like trafficked through Europe or wherever you're
Right.
going? Like,
And she's like, well, I'm doing it for the man I love. And the man she loves is over here freaking out. And it's like, really?
he
You
wouldn't,
think
this doesn't
that's
help him
for
at
his
all.
benefit? Like, yeah, I think you should work it out together. And even if you both die, it would be better than this. Like, it would just be better than what's happening.
Well, then Nick tries to force Diana to go with him. He grabs her and Brian's like, over my dead body, and he grabs her, and then Nick pulls out his gun and says, you know what, you blew it, both of you blew it, I'm sick of all this, I want my money, and if I don't get my money, I'll shoot Diana. He pulls his gun, and then he says, actually, to hell with the money, I'm just gonna shoot all three of you, because Liz has shown up, and he has
I'll pay
deduced
for it myself. Yeah.
he has deduced that Liz is the reason that Brian found out about what's going on with Diana. And so he's like, I'll shoot all three of you.
Okay.
And then Brian judo kicks him and takes his gun, throws it into the ocean, and then they fight. I was confused though, because I thought they were on the boat, but were they not on the boat? Because then they were like on the docks. Did they change location?
Yeah, I guess, I don't know.
Because originally what happened was Diana got on the yacht with the two of them, right? With Stan and Nick, because Brian had to swim to the boat to get to them, right?
Right. Yeah.
But then we see them on like the boardwalk docks with Liz.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I don't know.
I don't know when that happened, but they ended up back on shore with Liz.
That keeps happening watching these YouTube like episodes on YouTube. Like I feel like things keep maybe getting cut out or something, or like the episodes aren't completely sensible.
Yeah, well, it's passions.
It happens, yes. Maybe it is.
So he gets rid of the gun, and then he's like, that should level the playing field. And then they fist fight each other. Yeah. Brian eventually wins out, even though he was like fighting Nick and Stan at one point. Nick was like beating him with a baseball bat at one point. But eventually Brian wins out, and he's like, you better get out of here, get off this island, and don't you come back here. You're going to get your money, but don't, whatever. Diana's mine, whatever. Nick says, I'll be back, and I'm going to destroy your life, and I'm going to take Diana. And then he leaves, and Diana and Liz have a little aside together where Diana realizes that Liz was the one who told Brian the truth, and
that was awkward that she brought it up. If it were you, wouldn't you have not said that shit? I feel like it's so awkward to say that shit. And Liz was like annoyed. She was like, yeah, like I did what I had to do morally. Fuck you.
Yeah, like it was just the right thing to do, bitch.
Shut up. Like I don't want to talk to you about it specifically. But whatever. Yeah.
Right. So whatever. But I guess they're basically cool or whatever about Liz still having feelings for Brian.
Yeah.
Then Diana is just, oh my God, they did this for so long. Diana keeps talking about how Nick said that he knew her and that, she's like, well, maybe he was my last chance to find out who I am. And Brian keeps telling her, like, there's no way he knew you. Like, he's a fucking liar. He's one of the worst fucking people I've ever met in my life. He was lying to you. He was just trying to manipulate you.
Well,
but they did that back and forth a lot. Like it was constant. And then she got like a flash of her dead lover, and we did all of that.
That was
it was just uncomfortable. It was stupid.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, back on the yacht. This was hilarious. Nick is like, oh, I remember how I know Diana. It finally comes to him. I remember how I know Diana.
I noticed that all the female pictures were repeating, so it was like the same, like 6 women, like. Bloop, 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 bloop,
yeah.
Bloop,
So
bloop,
let's see. Let's say what happened. So he says, I remember how I know Diana. I saw her at a party in Paris. Yeah. And there was a lot of press at that party in Paris.
Yeah.
So all I have to do is search the internet and find the pictures from that party in Paris and find out who she is. Like she was a big deal. I can remember that.
That was what that makes so much sense.
That's what he said at first.
That's what he said he was going to do. And that makes sense. And Google would help you with that. But then.
What did he
do? Yeah.
But then he says,
Never mind.
I'm so glad that I had the tech guys upload the latest software on my computer, and so that I could upload this picture that I stole from Brian's room. He stole a picture of Sheridan from Brian's room. He uploads it into his computer on this yacht. Again, a reminder, they're on a yacht, like they're in the ocean, but whatever. I know there's like satellite and everything, but the internet wasn't that good in our homes.
Yeah, it was in early 2000s, like very early. So
anyway, so he's like, I can upload this picture and then I can scan it again. It'll search the internet for a match. And so then then we get a picture of that picture he scanned into the thing of Diana against like a blue screen. And then there's a screen next to it that has these like 7 or 8 pictures of blonde women that just cycle through until it stops on Sheridan in front of the Eiffel Tower. And then we come back and there's a new picture of Sheridan. It's like her headshot.
Oh yeah, it was a different, more close-up picture. Yeah.
But for some reason, the search didn't tell him who's the name of that person.
Even though he could have gone to the event page that he was originally talking to, that would be so easy. Like, it's like, she's Sheridan Crane. Like, it would have come up immediately. But he went over here and was like, I'll try this technology. And it's like, I was annoyed by that too. I was like, okay, whatever works for you, sir.
He went the longest way around possible, but he got there. So he gets to this site. It shows him the headline of heiress to the Crane fortune dies, blah, blah, blah. So then he and Stan realize they're the only 2 people in the world that know that have this information that Sheridan Crane is actually alive. And then he says that he's going to marry Sheridan. I was like, how?
Okay, so this is what I was trying to say earlier, is that like him being like that triggered my earliest memories of like Brian, and like Brian, like that's literally the mentality he had. He became obsessed with Sheridan before she was even consciously aware of it, and he basically was like, I'm gonna make her my lover for life, and like I'm obsessed with her and it's gonna happen. It was the same exact vibe, the two men, and it was like, I just didn't understand why one was romantic and one was not romantic. Like, I did understand that, but I was just like, okay, like Nick he gives me the same vibes that Brian gave me when he found her unconscious on the beach. Like, he was like,
I'm so glad you clocked that. I'm so glad you clocked that.
I don't know if it's just because I'm a Luis fan, because I love him so much. So I'm like, he's
me too.
But I also think Brian's creepy. So
no, 100%. And I think so. Another parallel that we drew between Nick and Brian, like last week or the week before, is that he specifically says that he likes Diana because she doesn't know who she is or where she's from.
Yeah. He's like, there's something innocent about her. It's like, is it because she has amnesia, like, and has no personality whatsoever?
And it's the same thing. That's the same reason Brian likes her. Yeah, because he can shape and mold her into whatever he wants her to be.
Now it's creepy, but the whole time it was creepy. Like, yeah, I agree.
So
but I like Brian, though it is working on me in the sense that I like Brian at least better than that guy. I love Luis and I want Luis. I know it's not going to happen, so I'm rooting for Brian, even though I can't believe it. Like, I'm like, just...
I'm rooting for Sheridan to be a single rich lady. That
won't happen, though.
Or Luis. I'm rooting for Luis, but if she can't have Luis, a single rich lady.
I know it's not true, so I know I can't even root for that. But yes, of course, I want her to come into her power. She has so much power, like just waiting for her.
Yeah, she could if she would tap in. But yeah, I'm definitely this Nick character I hate.
Luis. Oof.
Woof. I dressed up as Luis for Halloween.
I love that. That's so funny.
I think the episode that's on the Patreon right now, I was dressed up as Luis in the episode.
Do you have video footage of like those get-togethers?
I don't have video footage. I took like a couple of pictures, like screenshots. I would just love
to see a picture, yeah.
Yeah, I took let me see. Let me find
just because like I love people, what's that called? Like a drag
cosplaying?
That also. You're a drag king, but also it was cosplaying because you're not actually a drag king. So
yeah, I guess I was kind of. The
fact that you were also being Sam is like, he's like, who said he was Zaddy? He is. He really is.
So let's see. This is.
Are you going to show me somehow?
Yeah, can you see?
No.
You see my little picture?
Ah!
So, yeah, like you see Eric
Oh my
is
god,
Alistair,
amazing.
and
Oh
then
my god,
Karen
I
was
see
Fluffy.
Alistair. Oh, that's
Maria
hilarious.
was Gwen.
How cute. Oh my god.
This was the Lopez Fitzgerald house on fire. Obviously, I'm Luis in this picture. And then we got
LOL. Yeah,
the little angel girl, a
of
pumpkin.
course.
You can't see it in this picture, but Taylor was Grace, but she had a can of tomato soup.
Perfect. Oh, I can see it. Okay, I see that.
Yeah.
And then what's this blue hoodie over in the corner?
She wasn't dressed as anything. That's just Fantasia.
She's just being herself.
She was there for the fun. We were having a good time.
I love that outfit. I would love to be. I honestly, if I could be in Luis's body for like a week, like I don't want it forever, but I would be in it to win it for that.
I want Luis's body
gorgeous.
in me. Are you kidding?
I love him. Yes. I think that's where my like brain is actually coming at it from a different angle, but it's the same sentiment.
That is a man. Do you hear me?
So handsome. He's so handsome. And it's not only just like the height and the body, but it's also just like the vulnerability and like the also aggression is everything. Like I don't often have crushes on characters. Though I will say, just to bring up Eureka again, I have such a crush on the main character in that too. But yeah, Luis is very hot. I love him.
Luis.
And remember, my cousin met him and like ran.
I remember you telling me that. Yeah,
it's like, bitch.
I don't know. I don't know what I would do with myself if I met him.
I wouldn't be cool about it. I would be very awkward and ruin it.
It would be very uncomfortable for everybody involved. So. Anyway, that's the end of the show today. Jessica, thank you for being here. Where can everybody find you?
On Fairfolk Trade, either fairfolktrade.com or on Instagram, same name.
All right. And I'll link that in the description.
Sweet.
And if you want to talk to me, come join the Patreon, because I don't know if y'all have noticed, but the social media is very dead now. Like, I'm getting back to it. I will eventually get back to it, but it's just not my thing. It's not my thing.
To do. You have to think to do it and have to be in the right headspace to do it. I feel
yeah, and it takes so much time. It's just like, oh Lord. So come but I am very active on the Patreon. So if you want to come and hang out, come join the Patreon.
When's your next like live stream thing? Like,
I don't know, November or something. We're in November. I'm probably gonna put that up on the thing today. Probably on the 18th. We'll do the 18th and maybe the 24th. Yeah.
That's
next
perfect.
week and the week after.
Getting into winter. Perfect.
Yeah. So all right, y'all. That's the show. You are my passion for life.